open and that is working well with everybody, and the church is included. And we want to keep hearing the voice of the church on very critical national issues. We don't want the church to be silent. Even though in the last 6 years, for all indications, everybody else in the society was silent. They were quiet. They didn't see anything wrong. Everything was okay. Some people from the very section of the church will tell people, if you criticize the government, something will happen to you. They didn't hear them speak out. Most recently, it was established that one of the leaders of the church, irrespective of what position he was in, to poor Liberians of hundreds of thousands of dollars in the name of helping them with visa to go someplace somewhere. I'm still waiting. I didn't hear the church talk about that. But it's good that they want to be focused on national issues, but the only thing we ask of them is to come with some level of fairness. Each of you here, if you went to your house and you realize that your neighbor is beating your child because your child has done something, if you wouldn't get angry because the neighbor is beating your child, but care less about why the child is being beaten, then something is wrong. At the Independence celebration, a number of activities were listed, especially at the Thanksgiving and intercessory service. One of the activities that were listed was for us to be welcome, which is normal. Somebody go to your house, welcome them. I guess the Thanksgiving service was organized on the auspices of the Liberian Council of Churches. So after the head pastor of the church was called to welcome us, perhaps they thought there was another need to have another welcoming comment this time from the Council of Church. And instead of just welcoming us to celebrate our independence, the platform was seen as an opportunity to raise issues about quote-unquote RIA, this place and that place. In the voice of the person who spoke on behalf of the Council of Churches, the former president was coming to the country and the government deployed security just because the former president was coming. That's unacceptable. That has no space in our society. But then there was a complete silence on what happened at the airport. And I thought that was unfair. I would not allow it to rest. First of all, the government did not deploy the AFL because former President Libya was coming. We need to get that clear. No AFL was deployed because former President Libya was coming. The small unit of the AFL troops that you saw, they've been deployed there, I guess, under the administration of President Libya. They deployed them there. But we had all the challenges about drugs and other substances coming into the country. They deployed them there at the point of exit. So they went there. They went at the point of entry because there was an imminent threat to the airport. There were angry crowds roaming about the entryway to the airport, demanding access to the terminal. And that if they did not have access, they would do this, they would find the place, they would do this one, they would do that one. The police unit responsible for ensuring that the place was safe was overwhelmed. So for the armed forces small unit that was already deployed at the airport to assist the police in preventing the airport terminal from being invaded was an action that protected our country. The airport has regulations, not tied domestically. Regulations that got international implications. And if those regulations are breached, the airport could be banned. And traveling could be a problem for our people. Many things happened at the airport that day, as I indicated in the last press conference. There are officials who walk on the tarmac. Nobody does that. It's unacceptable. When you reach the airport, only travelers with valid passport and tickets enter the terminal of the airport. You had a situation where people were trying to force themselves into the terminal. So rather than focusing on holistically what happened, to also condemn the fact that there were people who were threatening to enter the terminal and they were not allowed to enter, the winning. Rather than focusing also on the fact that people who were not authorized to be on the tarmac walk on the tarmac. You gave blind eyes to all of that. And all you talk about is the presence of armed army officers. This government did not deploy the army officers at the airport. They've been there. It's a stationed unit. If they see threat, they have an obligation to help to prevent the threat. And if that does not concern you, and the only thing that you care about is army will deploy because of President, where have been going in and out of the country? Have you seen army people getting involved in his entry and coming? The only complaint you've heard from time to time is whether he's entering VIP loan, entering that loan. Have you heard any security stuff? So that intervention was not because President Biya was coming. It was because there was already an unruly crowd at the airport threatening to do things that are not allowed in airport area. How come the church didn't see that also? How come it was not important for the church to talk about that? If I saw somebody beating my child, one of my neighbors that I got home, while I may be concerned as to why the neighbor is beating my child, I will also be concerned about what my child did. And for church leaders whose work are bordered on biblical principles, you cannot be closing your eyes to one thing and then be talking about the other. It's good to be thoroughly informed about things you want to speak on. And it is also said to be balanced, because if you don't do so, then it will appear that you're drawing the church into politics. And we are not interested in politics of the church. Politics, we level politicians. There's enough of them here already. I just thought to set that record straight, because I thought instead of focusing on what was dedicated to them, welcome us at the service, and moving into somebody deploying soldiers because President we are coming, that's not the truth. No army officers were deployed on account of the president returning to the country. They've been there, like I said, they saw an imminent threat, they helped to solve that problem. The terminal was not invaded. It saved us from having our airport banned. And if you're concerned, you need facts, sometimes it's good to engage the authorities, talk to them, ask questions, find out what happened. So that when you issue a statement, that statement is issued on an informed basis. I thought to set this record straight. I know better you were concerned the last time when we talked about the prophet and how we will revoke his lesson. If he didn't come because we invited him. And I guess many of you saw him come here because a few of you came to me after the meeting. Yes, so the prophet decided that it was important to come based on our invitation. So that's all we wanted. He came with dialogue to talk about the issues we had. We were concerned about his podcast that was concerning to many Liberians. And we expressed to him what we felt since the frequency being used. And it's important to get this straight. We are not in the business of sanctioning people what they say as they preach the word of God. That was not our concern. Our concern is we gave you a permit to run a radio station. And if that radio station is being used in a way that concerns, we got to call you and talk about it. So we talk about it, the pastor is a calm and very reasonable man. We form common ground. We also had issues with compliance as far as the radio station is concerned, because the last time they did their registration for 2020, they understood us, they decided to settle and pay their obligations so that they can be current. And that matter was peacefully resolved. brother from account that he was being called somewhere, we made an intervention and said to them, nobody saw the need to ask the pastor any question until we did. We have had conversations with him. We resolved the matter that was at hand. Don't leave the pastor alone, let him do a church work. If you don't believe in his church, you don't believe in his preaching, stay away from there. But one thing we know, the radio station that was used in a way that we found questionable will not be used in that way anymore. And for us, that resolved the matter. Let's leave the pastor alone, let him do the work that God has called him to do. Like Daniel said, we're out here because we started. When we came here as a team, one of the things we said, that we're going to set people to keep working in this kind of environment. The process of changing this environment has started. Right now, what is happening is that the entire roof will be replaced. And in a couple of days, when the work is done, you have a brand new roof. Right after that, we're coming to the building itself. We're working on the building, everything you see from outside, inside, roofs, windows, caboons, everything you think of a ceiling. We want to change this place to a brand new building, and you, as stakeholder of this sector, will be proud of having walked to the Ministry of Information for your press conferences and whatever it is. We try our best always to be committed to what we say we do. We don't come making promises to our people that we know we can't do. One of the many things that I'm not happy here in so many years is that during the festive season, we try to make our employees happy. Right now, my team and I are working to make sure that not just the employees that work here, but all of you who are covering the Ministry of Information, the fact that you come here to cover our press conferences every time, you are a part of us. Trying to get some bag of bread to give each person at least 125 kg or kg. So you go to your house, you're not spending the 25 years your family eat. All of you here will benefit because you're part of us. This is the kind of transformation we were talking about, and we want you to help us. How many of you, I haven't seen any stop talking about how the ministry has started renovating this building. I can't get none of you, for those of you who are part of us. I go to the internet and say, oh, you couldn't establish the building. Your own building because you're part of us. So, there's a transformation taking place here. You are a part of that transformation. If you call it history, you are part of the history. Don't be ashamed to tell the history, to tell the story of that history. Let's do it together. Now I want to close on this. Every time a good thing is happening to the country, somebody try to find a reason to cast it down. Also the yellow machine situation. Thank God we did not wake up in the country without yellow machines. There are times aircraft, and I'm not talking about one small jet, huge aircraft coming down to land at the Ramos International Airport is forced to take off and go back in the sky. For those of you who are travelers who know what it takes to be in an airplane, imagine the flight is landing and coming close to landing, you got to go back up because the airport is dark. Think about that. And then we have 3 Caterpillar generators. Many of you who are part of the young generation, you know what Caterpillar materials are. One of the best that you can find anywhere. 3 huge Caterpillar generators to solve the energy problem at the airport once and for all. Correct. Thank you, Deputy. He says those things will give out 1,200 kVA. Enough power for the airport and beyond. They can solve that problem of the airport being down, the planes are coming and they got to pick up, go by in the air, risking people's lives, they could be killed. They solved it. Then our police people who are struggling get additional vehicles, 20 plus. And when they go pay attention to that airport talking about that gift from friend, what is behind it? There was that year when people get gift, and the people who get a gift will say, I just gave my friend, gave me to boost my morale. Now you have a president who is not looking for a gift to boost his morale. He's looking for a gift that changes the situation of our country. A gift that will make the airport work. A gift that will make the police work. Not a gift that gave you morale. And rather than pay attention to the impact this thing will have, somebody tell me, oh, what is behind it? Our minister will go tomorrow. Who gave mineral as the president? For somebody to give a mineral agreement to somebody, what the law says, it requires ratification by the national legislature. So the president doesn't have any power to wake up one morning and say, John Brown or Wulati can't take Wologisi for you. The president got power. If Wulati has the capacity and he wants to invest in our mining sector and he wants Wologisi, a concession agreement is presented, it goes to the legislature, they agree on it, there's a concession. So what is unnecessary fear and panic? Why the too much jittering when good things are happening? Do we want this country from government after government to remain why it is? Then we're sorry to disappoint you. Because after the 6 years of President Waka, this country will not be the same. And those who cannot stand the sight of change, you can figure what you want to do. But change must come. The process of change has started. Nothing will track it. No petty politics. No gambling. Nothing. And I mean nothing will stop the progress we intend to make on this government. I just thought to sound these few things out. Will not be deterred by all the funny things that people try to do with every good thing that wants to happen. We'll remain focused because we have a president who is focused. They always say the thing when I feel they get it right, it starts from the head. Waka is the head of our administration. That head is not rotting. The head of that fish is not rotting. The entire body will also not get rotting. We make commitment to our people, and based on the commitments we were elected, and those commitments will be delivered upon them. Thank you. So Assistant Minister Mark Jabate is visiting our press conference. Mark, come down here, my man.
How you doing?
How you feel to be minister? A good thing, eh? Okay, I want to settle it now, they didn't do that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. And I'm so happy today to see the journalists here. And on behalf